They're back.
Yep, day one of camp here at Fisher.
And Josh Allen's hair, it's beautiful.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as share. We always appreciate it. Welcome to training camp, everyone. Day one in the books.
Football is back.
Football is back. The boys
Interruption
are back.
one.
Yeah. Tally. All right, we're going to talk pass catcher of the day, what the offense looked like, what Josh Allen had to say, Brandon Beane with some fiery comments. We'll get into everything. But first and foremost,
Beane's comment is the best mic drop we may have this season.
yes, I completely agree.
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay.
And Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Because it's about Josh Allen, and it's about the fact of what this training camp, he's the star. And that's nothing new. But the level that maybe the stars around him are different. We've joked around about the program being new around him. You might need a program to come to training camp because there are so many new faces. But Josh Allen's just such a rock star.
So I was on Buffalo radio this morning, and they asked, do you think it changes for Josh? Because if it doesn't go as well as people would want, there's the idea that he doesn't have the talent around him. Not with Josh Allen.
No.
Around the country, a lot of national people especially cannot wait to take shots at the guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that comes from other media people or fans. But in this case, when Beane was talking, it was in his world that the comment came from.
So Josh Reed asked Brandon Beane about the ESPN report that had an anonymous NFL executive saying that Josh Allen was the most overrated player in the NFL. Should we put in his response?
This is what he had to say.
Josh, I don't know where to start. It's frustrating. You try to ignore this stuff, but Josh is going into year 7, and there's still the naysayers. I don't get it. If I was going to use rated, I would say underrated before I would say overrated. And I know I'm biased. He's our guy, and love him every single day. These things that come out there, I know people love the rankings of whoever, but when you don't put your name to it and you make comments like that, like, who is this executive? Executive's a loose term. I was probably referred to as executive well before I should have been. And so I just say, if you're not going to put your name on it, we really shouldn't validate it. I know it gets validated because it's on ESPN, and I'm not a fan of that style, and I wish the writer wouldn't include a comment like that. I don't think Josh deserves that. And again, I'm biased, but I'm tired of hearing it. Sal, there's idiots everywhere.
There are idiots everywhere is just
There are
mic drop.
comments like that about me in the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.
I was thinking merchandise.
Oh, that's really good. Don't
Thank
steal
you.
our ideas.
That's it.
Copyright Buffalo Plus LLC, whatever that is. That's ours.
You heard it here. I do.
And that's thunder.
Yeah, that is thunder. It was raining really hard earlier. Now it's raining less. It was very hot at practice.
Yeah.
Mike set us up in the.
I got a beautiful tent. It's a little bigger than I wanted.
Yeah.
They use it part of the time for something called hospitality, but for us, it's the studio.
So if you hear-
Hospitality
yeah.
/ Buffalo Plus
So
Studio.
if you hear rain, it's just a monsoon going on
Yeah.
behind. Beautiful day for practice.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it allowed Josh Allen to high five the entire Bills Mafia fan base here.
Go ahead, Jenna.
I'm biased. I live
So
in
is Brandon Beane.
I live in Rochester, but having fans be able to come out here and the access that you get is incredible. So many other NFL teams, their training camp is back at their facility. It's essentially closed, or if it's not, it's essentially sponsors. Here you get to see Josh and the players get to interact with so many fans, especially the kids, and Josh going all the way around the perimeter of camp today.
This field, that field.
Yeah, it just, Mike, it's not shocking because that's who Josh is, but it's always like, wow, that's incredible.
We were out talking to some of the fans. A friend of mine used to work for us, had his 3 little boys at camp, and his oldest was like, can you tell Josh Allen to come over to us? And I kind of laughed and I said, well, hopefully that happens. I know.
Sorry,
know, thunder.
I hate thunderstorms.
He says, hopefully that happens. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know, hang in there, whatever it is. And then at the end of practice, if you stayed here, Josh Allen came to you.
Yeah,
because he
amazing.
went all the way around. I mean, above and beyond what any player does if they were asked to do, and certainly any superstar asked to do or would want to do. He's done it before at the end of practice. To do it day one, he's setting the bar pretty high.
I know, that's what I was thinking, but the response he gets is incredible.
Yeah, I was joking around with this PR guy saying it's like the Beatles. And shout out Kevin Kearns, because his response was the Beatles wouldn't get this kind of treatment. I mean, it's just people lose their mind, and rightfully so. What he's done for the team, what he's done for the community. And again, I think that's what part of Brandon Beane's answer was frustration about. He talked about, you know, unnamed executives. He's like, I used to be an executive.
Keep this in mind. There was one unnamed executive who said that, but it's not an outlier for media people and a lot of fans of the NFL to say things like that about Josh Allen, which is, I mean, I don't know how you would overrate him. The only way you could overrate Josh is to say he's better than Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Mahomes has the resume and he's beaten him in the playoffs.
Yes.
I mean, that's the reality of the way it is, and he has the Super Bowls. I don't know. Beyond that, he's the second best quarterback in the NFL, and he's carried this franchise.
1,000%. And today you got to see, we've talked so much about the leadership aspect of what Josh is, especially now with there being so many new faces. And what did you hear from McDermott? Because you asked him about that.
This is unreal.
All right, we had to take a short break because of the weather.
Monsoon. What do you mean weather?
Yeah,
I
it was
know.
insane
If you
weather.
heard that at the end of that last part and are going, guys, the audio sounds crappy,
We're
we
here.
were accommodating,
We are back.
braving
Yeah.
the elements.
Yes. Okay, let's get back
Thankfully,
in.
we're in the studio.
Yeah.
You really outdid yourself.
I know.
All
I
right,
was wondering how structurally sound this was for a second, making sure Catalana didn't
no,
cheap
it's
on us.
starting to rain. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Let's get into it. You asked Sean McDermott about Josh Allen and his leadership.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Dion said during this offseason is Josh stepping up as a vocal leader, something we've talked about on this channel before. Dion said that Josh has been barking more, and he's heard him barking more. So I asked Sean if he had noticed a conscious effort from Josh to step up more vocally, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah, I haven't noticed the barking piece. But yeah, Deion's great, right? Yeah, so Josh, overall, you talking like from a leadership standpoint? Yeah, I mean, I've noticed a ratcheted up form of Josh, and from a leadership standpoint, again, just being intentional about, and I say that going back to the spring, and I look forward to that continuing to ratchet up here. But going back to the spring, just being intentional about working with his core receivers, backs, tight ends, and hey, if something's not right, you know, being proactive and saying, hey, listen, let's run that again, or I need to see that again, and we'll go do it during special teams period. He's coming over here with a guy or two, and I think that's a big piece of really getting our level of execution up to where it needs to be and as consistent as it needs to be.
You're getting early training camp, Sean, with the I haven't heard the bark, but
He's a jokester. He's a
Dion's great. And then he gets back, and then he's like, oh wait, hang on. Back to coach mode.
No,
Yeah.
it is training camp season.
But I did notice that even more today. Josh making sure if something wasn't to his standard, it was more than what it used to be before. It used to be more of a, with Diggs and those guys, it was like a collaboration of, hey, how do you see this? Now it seems more like Josh is like, with these new wide receivers, it's like, no, you got to do it this way. This is how I'm expecting you to do it, and go from there.
And
I
Josh,
love that.
and Josh has a lot of vibes guys to help him in this,
Yeah.
including his coach
Yep.
in Joe Brady, and then also the other guys on offense. Like, he's got a couple of new guys here who bring that energy to help in terms of keeping that mindset up. I mean, you're right. Josh is correcting or redoing or going over plays,
Yeah.
but it takes energy in these practices,
Yeah.
and he's got guys to do that.
A ton of juice, and especially on offense, there was a lot of red zone work today.
Mm-hmm.
And you noticed it as well, but the celebrations after a touchdown were kind of, they felt like we were at a game.
The first one, as the rain picks up again, but the first one was the Dalton Kincaid, and I thought, oh, touchdown, first one in camp, and the whole team kind of got together and celebrated.
Yeah.
We can't shoot that period that they were running 11 on 11. pretty much from the 2-yard line. But I was like, oh, they're all celebrating. Like, that's cool. And then the second one happened, and Connor McGovern got to spike the ball. And I went, that was interesting. And it went on and on again. Justin Shorter caught a touchdown. He actually caught 2.
Justin Shorter.
And then he launched a football that he caught about 30 yards over the street behind us on this field. So I asked Josh after practice, like, it just felt like they were finding ways to bring juice. We know Joe Brady has energy, all of those things. But I asked Josh if it was a conscious effort to celebrate touchdowns, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, Coach Brady teaches and wants us to go out there and, execute, but it's not easy to score touchdowns in this league, as we all know. So when we get in there, let's celebrate. It's a big moment that helps our team win football games, and we should be excited about those. And again, you practice every habit that you have, and having a habit of practicing going out there and celebrating celebrating with your teammates, more importantly, not just someone going out there and doing his own thing. Like, get everybody involved, which is it helps the team camaraderie, gets linemen excited to go and spike the football, and everybody wants to get in the end zone.
I do love this because I feel like when there's so many new faces, like the energy, like you said, the energy has to be up. And it might seem trivial to sound like, oh, you're celebrating a touchdown in a training camp day 1, but I do think it's important. And I do think there's that piece of like team building, the camaraderie, like that type of stuff too.
Competition.
That's
pisses
also
off the defense.
I was going to say, it will lead to a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There will be a fight because
Yes.
of a guy celebrating over his teammate, and it will lead to a fight.
In the comments, I want you to answer who starts the first fight.
Oh.
Maybe the 2 combatants.
Yeah.
Give me the 2 combatants. I want you guys to
Spencer
comment
Brown.
on who it is. Well, that's your guess. That's not a bad one.
Sorry.
Not a bad one with Spencer Brown. I'm trying to think of, like, is there a Jerry Hughes on defense that always gets into it with somebody? Just wait to see.
Well, also, we talked about energy and juice. Mac Hollins, we saw a little bit over the spring, but that dude, he's so vocal. He's so energized.
There will be a mic'd up practice or a game with Mac Hollins that the Bills do that will be beautiful.
First of all, I took a picture of him before practice. He had his shirt underneath his pads or his jersey, and it had like cuts along vertically, and I was like, it looked like...
What did Maddie Glab say? Something you would make in middle school.
Yes.
It was like Spirit Week for Mac Hollins for the first day of camp.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder like what the advantage is to that. But
and look, he's a big guy. He runs routes well.
Yeah, he's strong.
He connected. You mentioned the other guys making plays. On the other side of it, right in front of us, in a drill at the red zone, KJ Hamler, nice diving catch. That is a small man.
Yes.
Fast, but he's out there making a play. And Curtis Samuel ripped the ball away from the defender, spiked the ball too.
Yeah. KJ Hamler, too, on that touchdown, he kind of tripped a little bit. So I kind of was like, oh, we'll see. And then he went in and got the catch. So.
And by the way, the one that did not count, because they had referees here calling it, which was earlier in camp, I thought, was Khalil Shakir made a great catch on the sidelines, but Christian Benford helped push him out of bounds. They called it incomplete, but the hands, we have to mention Shakir.
I thought that was great. Sean was also asked before practice about all the new faces of wide receivers and how do you blend it in together. And he compared it to silverware.
I understood where he was going. Maybe it's an age
you got to
thing.
set it up more, because he talked about there's a drawer in your house.
That you think, and he even said, he goes, we don't know what we have, but we know what we have. I think that's very telling.
So his point was, you open up a drawer. Men, it's probably us because we're stupid, but you open up the drawer and you look and you're like, what does this thing do? And where do I put it away?
Yes.
If I'm
he
taking it
talked
out
about
of the
unloading
dishwasher.
the dishwasher and not knowing where to put something.
Right,
back.
and so he referenced
Oh,
that.
that's really good.
About the players,
I didn't
which
know that.
I kind of got it, what he was going for. It took him a little while to get there. He still had that, the ice cream hangover from Pittsburgh Dairy. But I was thinking, I liked what he said, though. We know what we have, but we don't know what we have, is basically. You know the guys.
You all have that utensil drawer, but then you have like the whisk, and then you have the other thing. You have a corkscrew. You have all that stuff that's in there, but you never really know where it is.
No, and most people have like 8 of them. This team has 8 of those kind of guys. Like things out there, you're like, okay, you just mentioned Mac Hollins, fascinating guy in every way.
Does it use silverware?
That's
Yes,
true.
that's true.
That was the
point.
other thing I thought about.
Yeah. And the shoes.
Oh.
By the way, we came walking down from lunch. Dan went back for seconds on tacos.
I did not.
I know.
I was proud of myself.
Wow. And Mac Hollins was walking up the steps
Barefoot.
You did the thing that you always do. When
I
you're
went
like, yeah, when you're too close to someone and you're like, did you see that? It's like, we're right here.
Oh.
We're right here.
Sir, I'm looking right at you.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss it.
No, we didn't miss it. Mac is an interesting prospect.
I thought it was a good day all around for the offense.
Yeah.
I think I had tempered expectations
Yeah.
of what to expect. I liked what I saw offensively. Bobby Babich was pretty pissed at his defense at times because there were multiple touchdowns, like we said. MVS caught a touchdown.
Dan's guy.
Yeah.
Kincaid caught two. Hey, breaking news. Dalton Kincaid is really good at football.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
Very good. And the defense knows it. Terrell Bernard was asked about him, and he's like, yeah, we're well aware of
Yeah.
what the guy can do. Bobby Babich uses some bad words.
Football guy.
Yes,
Well, it's an
definitely.
F, yes, but he uses some words.
Yes.
He does.
Cover
He's,
some-
he is
cover some-
spirited.
He is spirited. Yes.
Spirited.
We don't know who's going to call plays.
Mike
The Hall of
asked.
Famer here asked the question.
Well, I just asked Deshaun if you made the decision yet. He actually gave a good answer.
he did give a good answer.
Like it was a real answer. It wasn't like, no, we haven't. He's
and
like,
you
listen.
said it with a Catalana smirk because I think you were saying it as like a joke because I thought McDermott
I
would say,
never do that.
well, we're gonna wait till a little bit later in camp to make that decision, Mike. Ask me, and he was just like, I know what I'm gonna do, but
I think I know what I'm going to do.
I have
I'm
an
pretty
idea in mind.
confident.
Yeah,
But he
but
said
he
Bobby
goes-
will be calling stuff.
he goes, there's no point in publicizing what my plan is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is 100% true.
Which is
Plus,
very
he
fair.
said also they're ramping up this year. He's like, all the coaches will knock off the
Yeah.
rust. And I think that's, hey, look, Sean McDermott knows how to call plays, done it forever. I don't remember specifically what you two said. I'm on record as saying I think it starts with Babich. I
Yes.
think Babich is
Yeah.
going to be the guy. I think they're going to give. What are you doing with the book?
He doesn't know
Notes.
what to do.
I'm new.
I think it's going to start with Babich, and I think we're going to see a lot of them. This also allows Sean to let Babich, even into the preseason,
Yep.
call
Yeah.
plays. I think it's important.
All right, we talked about the pass catchers a little bit. I
Right.
do want to go back to KEON Coleman because I feel like we did not talk about him enough.
Do we vote for him? Pass catcher of the day.
Yeah.
The rookie.
Yeah.
Smooth.
He had a drop early in red zone,
I must have missed
and after that, yeah, it was just on individuals. It was just when the wide receivers
okay.
were working.
Oh, yes. Okay.
He had a drop there, and that was it.
Yeah.
He was spectacular after that. I thought he had the play of the day.
Beautiful.
That was the play of the day. Jamarcus Ingram was all over him, grabbing him. He's able to spin off, go to the sideline of the end zone, make a catch. The pretend refs ruled it incomplete. Keon still got up, flexed, the team went crazy, all of those things. And then the team photographer came over and showed the picture and was like, went to the ref like, hey, by the way, it's preseason for everybody. You missed this one.
Yeah.
And he made the catch. 2 feet in, just a great contested catch. And Josh threw the ball before he had broken from his route. Just a beautifully executed high-level play that was executed by two guys that you would have thought have done that for 5 years. We saw Diggs do that.
Yeah.
Where you just throw it and you trust that your guy's going to come
Yeah.
down with it. That, to me, was the play of the day.
So go
Above
ahead.
the rim.
Oh yeah.
A little bit above the
We're
rim.
gonna hear that.
And like the pirouette action.
Yep.
I
was
have
like,
a.
wow.
You'll see a little bit of it. It was just in individuals. If you saw on Twitter, I put up the shot of him doing a little bit of like a 360 catch. Not 360, but he goes around. I mean, he does have good body control. So I asked Beane. You picked him. You handed in the card. Like, what have you seen since then? And listen, I got a little kick out of that. He said, at some point he's a strong player. We want to see the guys with the pads on. Sometimes some of those guys that get picked that are maybe super fast or whatever kind of get the attention before the pads go on.
Interesting.
I was just thinking that
Would
maybe
Beane ever throw shade at Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, it's Worthy caught a touchdown. Terrible defense, but he
Brutal
caught a long
defense.
touchdown, and it got a lot of play
Yes.
because he threw it out there. So,
Yeah.
but Keon looks good. I mean, so and I think part of the reason I wanted to say, and you guys agreed, pass catcher of the day, the reception the kid gets out here is
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a step back, Mike, and towards Jenna.
There we go.
There you
I
go.
was gonna.
You were
yeah,
gonna do it?
Yeah.
We even have a table here to try and
Anchor Mike.
I didn't think I had moved.
you moved a lot.
You moved. You were encroaching.
Well, you know what the
Throw the
issue
flag.
is? I can't see where I am from this
That's
side.
okay. One of the last storylines I thought from today, Matt Milano
Yeah,
out there full participant, huge. I think that's another thing that a lot of fans were looking forward to. And again, we'll see how the Bills play it, but just for him and Terrell Bernard working with one another, it's exciting.
Yeah. My last note, Damar Hamlin, starting alongside Taylor Rapp.
Yeah.
Sean McDermott talked
Oh,
about
wait a minute. He's not taking a bow on this
I was
already.
hoping that
had a pass break up in red zone. He continues, and Beane talked about the fact of last year was just getting back on the field for him. At this point, we're talking about how will he be in pads and how will he be taking a hit again. I think he's really focused on getting back to football. We know there's no Poyer. We know there's no Hyde. Beane touched base saying that, Hyde was out of practice during minicamp, but he's in a good place, staying in shape, but they haven't reached out anymore after that. He also said that they thought of Mike Edwards as coming in a guy to be the starter, but because of an injury, he hasn't been able to really prove that. So he was running with the twos with Cole Bishop. So again, it's just something to keep an eye on. And I think we have to remember that Mike Edwards was a spot starter at his previous spots and started in Super Bowls because other guys were injuries.
Here he goes. It's the first practice, and Mike Edwards has not been out there.
Yeah,
with his
and
team.
he's like, I'm right. We didn't distinct when we were talking about. He
Oh
was
my
a starting
God,
safety
he's
today
good.
at training camp day one.
Day one. I got it right. It's me.
No, I hate this though.
I take my W's when I can get them.
Literally 2 days later.
By the way, before we go, I wanted to shout out to one of our viewers.
Yes.
So I was at the gym. I was in a class. I come out. Ricky from Caledonia, Mumford. Now he moved to New York, came back here.
Nice.
Big supporter of Buffalo Plus.
Love it.
Wanted to say hello. Loves watching the channel. So, Ricky, if you're watching, we'll see you in class next week.
We also love when anyone at camp comes up, talks.
Why not?
I was walking by today. Someone said, like, comment, subscribe. I heard
I
you.
like that.
I know. I was like, ooh, that's a good one.
I also like the guy that we were going to get lunch, works at Fisher, and said, "Hey, salary cap guy."
That was
pretty
good. That was
Yeah.
pretty good. I couldn't tell if he was mad at you, though.
I don't know if it was like a "fu" or if it was a "Hey, I'm on the same page."
He sounded actually snarky.
A little snarky.
Yeah,
I thought it was a little snarky.
Yeah. I was like, oh. I was
wouldn't know
like,
what
that's
that's about.
good. And then I was like, oh.
Oh, by the way, it's beautiful now. Good.
Well, tomorrow's supposed to be really nice.
Good.
So we'll see. Anything else?
Pass catcher of the day, KEON Coleman,
Yes.
Yeah, he's something.
just edging out Dalton Kincaid
Yes.
because Kincaid
I feel
was
like we're going to
fantastic.
have another day of.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Well,
so
and
we
we
set
can
the
talk
boundary,
in
like, so we set the record straight. Can you be a pass catcher of a day multiple times, or is it like once you're picked that?
Multiple
days.
Okay, that's
I
what
don't
I
see any
figured. I
reason.
just
Yeah.
want to make
Keep
sure
a
we.
tally for all of those at home. Keep a tally.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to add Josh Allen, quarterback of the day.
Yes.
I voted for him.
I don't know,
today.
Mitch.
Mitch. I got a chance to talk to Mitch. We were walking up.
nice man.
I asked him if he got a chance to play Oak Hill. He said, I have a 2-year-old. He goes, I don't have a lot of free time. He's
I
with
respect
the
that.
2-year-old.
I hear you,
that's
Mitch.
cool. We have a 2-year-old too.
That was
Walked through
perfect.
that one.
You certainly did. All right, that'll do it for us here. Please be sure again to like, comment, subscribe, share. Also, in terms of our podcast, the audio versions, you can find that wherever you listen to your podcasts. Subscribe. We're
Daily
doing
videos.
daily videos of training camp and what we saw
Josh
from
Allen's
the
hair
day. That Dan slow-moed that. It was perfect. It was amazing.
He's happy.
Yeah, he is. All right, for Mike and Dan, I'm Jenna. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel. Presented by Connors and Pears.